What if your soul knew the exact second it would leave your body? And what if that moment is far closer than you think? You've lived your life in this world, felt pain and joy, loved and lost, succeeded and failed. But there is one moment that awaits you. No matter who you are, no matter where you live or how powerful you may be, that moment is death. And while many fear it, in Islam, death is not the end. It is the greatest awakening. The moment when the soul finally sees what has always been hidden behind the veil of this dunya. You see, in our daily lives, we are busy building plans, chasing goals, and avoiding thoughts of the inevitable. But that inevitability stands unmoving, waiting. It will come for every soul, young or old, rich or poor, pious or sinful. The Quran reminds us, every soul shall taste death. But death is not darkness. It is the opening of a door, the beginning of a journey that has been described in vivid, chilling, and awe-inspiring detail by the Prophet Muhammad. When that moment comes, when your heart beats for the final time, your eyes stare upward and the world fades from your senses, something far more real begins to unfold. At that very instant, the unseen becomes visible. The veil that covered your eyes throughout your life is lifted. The presence of angels becomes clear, undeniable. You may have lived in doubt, but now there is no room for questioning. The angel of death arrives, not by chance, not randomly, but at a precise, divinely appointed second. This angel is not alone. If you lived a life of faith, of effort, of sincerity, even with flaws and stumbles, then the arrival is majestic. Beautiful angels descend with glowing faces, their expressions full of peace, carrying with them shrouds from paradise and fragrances more intoxicating than anything on earth. They sit around you as far as the eye can see, calming you, welcoming you. Their presence removes fear, erases hesitation. They say, "O pure soul, come out to the forgiveness and pleasure of your Lord." And at that command, your soul slips out effortlessly, peacefully, like a drop of water falling from the mouth of a jug. No pain, no struggle. You are not dragged. You are welcomed. And as your soul departs your body, these angels immediately wrap it in the cloth of paradise. An scent rises from it that the people of the heavens recognize and love. The journey upward has begun, and already you are honored. But not every soul experiences this peace. For those who lived in arrogance, in rejection of truth, who followed desire and disobedience while ignoring the signs of their Lord, the moment of death is one of terror. The angels who arrive are not bearers of mercy, but of punishment. Their faces are dark, their presence terrifying. They carry no fragrance of Jannah, only the stench of Jahannam. They encircle the soul with no warmth, no kindness. They say, "O wicked soul, come out to the anger and wrath of your Lord." But the soul does not want to come. It clings to the body. It resists with everything it has. And so it is pulled violently, painfully, like a thorn dragged through wet wool, tearing and shredding as it goes. It screams. It panics. And as it is torn from the body, it is wrapped in a coarse, foul-smelling cloth. The scent rises putrid, rotten, and the angels of the heavens recoil from it. Even in this first moment, the soul begins to taste the weight of its rebellion. The difference between these two moments is not found in status or wealth or public praise. It is in the heart. It is in the sincerity of worship, the honesty of repentance, the effort to return to Allah again and again despite falling. The righteous may not have been perfect, but they believed, they tried, they feared their Lord and hoped in His mercy. And that effort shapes everything about what happens next. That final breath is not the end. It is the unveiling of truth. It is when the soul meets the reality it always suspected was there, but often tried to forget. Once the soul has left the body, it does not drift aimlessly. It is not abandoned. What happens next is a precise, divinely commanded process. The soul is not alone in this journey. The angels who welcomed it now begin the second phase, the ascent through the heavens. They rise together, traveling through dimensions the human mind cannot fully comprehend. But each gate of heaven has guardians. And at every level, these gatekeepers ask, "Who is this beautiful soul?" And the angels carrying the soul respond with the best names it was known by on earth. Names of sincerity, of righteousness, of remembrance. The doors open in joy, welcoming this soul that the heavens already knew. For this soul had remembered Allah on earth, and now the creation of Allah remembers it in return. At each level, angels accompany it further, praising it, honoring it. The Prophet, soul had remembered Allah on earth, and now the creation of Allah remembers it in return. At each level, angels accompany it further, praising it, honoring it. The Prophet described this ascent in detail, explaining that it continues until the soul reaches the seventh heaven, where it is brought before Allah and there a command is given. Record this soul in Ilion, the highest register of the righteous. But the sinful soul is not honored. When the angels ascend with it, the guardians at each gate ask with disgust, "Who is this wicked soul?" And the response is with the worst names it was known by. Names of disobedience, of arrogance, of betrayal. The gates do not open. The heavens refuse it. This soul, already wrapped in foulness, is denied entry. The Prophet said, "The gates of heaven will not open for them." And then a command comes, write its record in Sijin, the lowest depths, and throw the soul back to earth. And it is not gently returned. It is hurled forcefully, painfully back to the grave, back to the earth where it will face what is still to come. This rejection is not symbolic. It is real. The soul feels every moment of it. And already it knows the journey ahead will not be one of peace. This is not fantasy. It is truth. The details are not invented to frighten, but to awaken. Every soul will face this moment, and what happens then will not be based on appearance, fame, or lineage, but on belief, on sincerity, on what the soul truly carried. The moment of death is not a mystery in Islam. It is a moment of absolute clarity. It is the beginning of the most important part of your existence. And when it arrives, there will be no turning back. The journey of the soul continues not with rest, but with movement. Once the soul has been taken by the angels and wrapped in its heavenly or cursed shroud, the next phase begins, the ascent toward the heavens or its rejection. This is not just a spiritual metaphor or poetic idea. It is a real unfolding event witnessed by angels and written in the records of the unseen. For the believing soul, the journey upwards is unlike anything imagined in the world. After the gentle extraction and perfuming of the soul, the angels carry it upward toward the sky. As they pass through the layers of heaven, gates are approached. And at every gate, angels ask, "Who is this?" The soul is introduced with the finest names it was ever called in the world. Names of piety, of worship, of humility. These are not merely birth names, but titles of honor earned by a life lived with sincerity. Names given by the people of righteousness. Names whispered in dua. Names that reflected a heart turned toward Allah. And with each name, the heavens open wide. The soul is welcomed, honored, and escorted further. Each layer of heaven brings joy, recognition, and delight. The angels know this soul. They saw it in prostration, in tears of repentance, in acts of kindness done in secret. They remember its patience in trials, its struggle to obey, its love for the Quran. The higher the soul ascends, the more beautiful the reception. It is a royal procession, though there are no crowns or palaces, just the fragrance of paradise and the nearness of divine mercy. Eventually, this soul reaches the highest heaven. It is presented before Allah, not physically in a form we understand, but in a manner befitting the unseen world. Allah commands that its record be written in Ilion, the register of the righteous. This book contains the names of those whom Allah has chosen for honor, for peace, for eternal reward. And then the soul is told to return, not to be forgotten, but to rest in the place it came from, to await the day of judgment. It is brought back to the grave where it will enter the next phase. But already this soul knows. It has seen the welcome. It has tasted acceptance. The fear of death is gone. The fear of what lies ahead is replaced by a quiet anticipation. It returns not in pain, but in peace. But for the disbelieving soul, the journey is filled with dread. From the moment it is dragged out of the body, it is treated with harshness. The angels ascend carrying a soul wrapped in a foul cloth. As they reach the first heaven, they are met with rejection. The angels guarding the gate ask with disgust, "Who is this vile soul?" The names given are not names of honor, but of disgrace. Names remembered by the angels for backbiting, for lying, for turning away from prayer, for mocking truth. The heavens do not open. The gates remain sealed. The soul is denied entry. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The gates of the heavens will not be opened for them, nor will they enter paradise until a camel enters through the eye of a needle." That is never. And so the soul is thrown back to the earth, cast down violently like a criminal thrown from a great height. It is not allowed to linger or rest. It is not shown mercy or warmth. Its record is written in Sijin, the lowest depths, the register of the wicked, a place of disgrace, a place of horror. And the soul is now returned to the grave, not for rest, but for the beginning of its reckoning. What happens next is something most living people never truly consider. Once the soul is returned to the grave, its body, lifeless to us, becomes the place of its next encounter. This is the realm of Barzakh, the barrier between this life and the day of resurrection. It is not simply a place of sleep or decay. It is a dimension of truth. The body lies in the earth, but the soul continues its journey. And now something awe-inspiring occurs. Two angels, Munkar and Nakir, are sent to the grave. Their appearance is nothing like the creatures of this world. Their presence is overwhelming, and the grave becomes a space of fear and confrontation. Every soul, regardless of status or background, will meet them, and they do not come to negotiate. They come to ask the most important questions any human will ever be asked. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? What do you say about the man who was sin among you? These are not questions of trivia or memory. They are questions of the heart, of the soul's inner reality. For the believer, the answers come naturally. My Lord is Allah. My religion is Islam. And the man sent among us was Muhammad. The soul speaks with certainty, not because it memorized the answers, but because it lived by them. These were truths embedded deep in the heart, nurtured over a lifetime. And when the answers are given, a voice from the heavens declares, "My servant has spoken the truth." Then the grave expands. It becomes wide, filled with light. A window to paradise is opened, and the soul feels the breeze, smells the perfume, and sees the place that awaits it. A figure appears beautiful and radiant and says, "I am your good deeds. I am here to keep you company until the day of judgment." There is no fear now, only comfort, only hope. The soul rests not in sleep, but in awareness of mercy. But for the one who rejected, who lived in heedlessness, the questioning is different. When the angels ask, "Who is your Lord?" the soul stammers, "I don't know." When asked about the religion, it says, "I don't know." When asked about the prophet, it replies, "I heard people say something, so I said it too." There is no conviction, no truth, no sincerity. The answers collapse, and a voice from the heavens declares, "My servant has lied." Then the grave tightens. It closes in with a pressure so intense that it shatters the ribs. A window to hell is opened. The heat and smoke overwhelm the soul. A figure appears hideous and foul and says, "I am your evil deeds. I am here to stay with you until the day of judgment." The soul screams, not from pain alone, but from terror, from knowing, from regret. A massive hammer strikes the soul, and it cries out with a scream heard by all creatures except humans and jinn. The punishment has begun, and so the grave becomes either a garden from the gardens of paradise or a pit from the pits of hell. It is not empty. It is alive. It reflects the truth of a person's life. And it continues for as long as Allah wills until the trumpet is blown and the resurrection begins. For the righteous, the time in the grave is like the sleep of a bride on her wedding night. Peaceful, joyful, full of anticipation. They know what is coming and they await it with calm. For the wicked, every moment is torment. Every second a reminder of what is to come. This is not folklore. It is not a parable. It is a real world, one just beyond the veil, waiting for every soul, shaping its next step on the eternal journey. The soul now enters the phase of waiting, a long unseen passage of time known in Islam as Barzakh. To those in the world of the living, it may seem as though the dead lie still in the ground, silent and unaware. But in reality, the soul is far from dormant. It is alive in a different realm, a realm beyond human perception, but fully within divine control. The world of Barzakh is unlike anything we know. It is not part of this dunya, nor is it the hereafter, but it serves as the bridge between the two. And while the body begins to decay, the soul continues its journey deeply aware of its surroundings. The nature of this awareness and what the soul experiences during this time depends entirely on what it brought with it from the life it lived. For the soul of the believer, the grave becomes a place of peace. After answering the questions of the two angels correctly and being affirmed by a voice from the heavens, the grave expands wide. A window is opened to paradise, and through it the soul sees its place in the hereafter. The scent of paradise drifts in. The breeze brings comfort, and the soul is allowed to rest in the knowledge that it has already been honored by its Lord. Some souls, like those of the martyrs, experience even greater freedom. The Prophet Muhammad described how they are placed in the hearts of green birds free to roam beneath the throne of Allah, eating from the fruits of paradise. These souls are not confined to the grave. They fly, they rejoice, they live in a higher realm until the day of judgment arrives. They are not asleep. They are awake in a way the living cannot comprehend. The soul of the average believer may not have that level of movement, but it still experiences peace. It can smell the perfume of paradise. It can see what awaits. It is told to rest like a bride waiting for the day she reunites with her beloved. The soul may even interact with other believing souls. Reports from the companions and early scholars suggest that souls can meet, ask one another about what is happening in the world, and welcome newcomers who join them. When a new soul arrives, others may gather and ask, "What happened to so-and-so? Did they follow us in righteousness or turn away?" And when a soul is missing, when someone is expected but never arrives, the fear sets in. Perhaps that person has been denied the ease of Barzakh. This interaction is not like conversation in the dunya, but it shows us something vital. That identity is preserved. That memory remains. That the soul continues to reflect and connect. But not all believing souls rest easily. Some come with faith, but also with heavy burdens. They lived with belief, but their actions were lacking. Perhaps they neglected prayer, fell into arrogance, hurt others, or disobeyed Allah's commands. Their soul is still one of a believer, but their time in Barzakh may involve purification. Punishment in the grave is real. It is not permanent for those who carried faith, but it serves as a cleansing. A mouth that lied may be torn. A head that ignored the Quran may be crushed. A body that slept through prayer may suffer until its laziness is corrected. These are not metaphors. These are warnings. And yet, even in punishment, there is mercy, because what is cleansed in the grave may not need to be judged as harshly on the day of judgment. Allah purifies whom He wills, and every moment of hardship can reduce the burden of what is to come. As for the souls of those who rejected the truth, their state in Barzakh is one of torment from the beginning. After the terrifying extraction of their soul, their rejection at the gates of heaven, and their painful return to the grave, their punishment begins. The grave closes in, their ribs crushed together, and a window to hell is opened. They feel the heat. They see the flames. They hear the cries. A figure appears ugly, foul, reeking of filth, and says, "I am your evil deeds. I have come to keep you company until the day of judgment." There is no comfort, no hope, only the awareness that this is just the beginning. The punishments of the grave are tailored to the sins of the soul. A person who committed zina, who devoured interest, who slandered others, who neglected the rights of people. They all face punishments that reflect their crimes. And there is no way to bargain, no way to escape. The soul is trapped in darkness, in fear, waiting not for salvation, but for the final day that will bring even greater terror. Then there are the souls whose fate is uncertain. They believed in Allah but lived a life of contradiction. Moments of sincerity mixed with hypocrisy, good intentions drowned by laziness, acts of worship stained by pride. These souls may not face peace nor punishment in full, but instead exist in a state of uncertainty. Their grave may not be completely dark nor fully lit. They may fluctuate, experiencing ease at times and fear at others. Their situation is suspended until the final judgment, where the scale will tip one way or the other. Yet even in Barzakh, there is hope, for the living can benefit the dead. A child who makes dua for a parent. A charity given on behalf of a loved one. A Quran read and gifted to someone's soul. These deeds reach them. They lighten their burden. The Prophet encouraged believers to continue benefiting their dead, because even in Barzakh, the doors of mercy are not fully closed. All of this happens while the world above continues. People are born, others die. Empires rise and fall. And yet the souls in Barzakh are locked in a reality far more lasting and real than the illusions of the dunya. They are no longer chasing wealth or worrying about status. Their only concern is what is to come. Some hope, some fear, but none are unaware. The sleep of the grave is not the unconsciousness of the body, but the deep soul-level awareness of everything the world ignored. And then one day, when the appointed time arrives, Barzakh will come to an end. The wait will be over, and the next phase, far more massive, far more terrifying, will begin. It will not come without warning. The Day of Judgment is not something that erupts without signs. Allah in His mercy has given us clues. Signs both small and major that point to the end of this world and the beginning of the eternal. These signs were taught by the Prophet Muhammad, described in his hadith with clarity and urgency. The early signs are subtle. Widespread ignorance, the disappearance of knowledge, the loss of trust, and the spread of immorality. People will chase the dunya as if it were their salvation. Leaders will become corrupt, and truth will be mocked. These signs are already upon us, unfolding one after another. But they are only the beginning. Soon the major signs will follow one after the other like beads falling from a broken string. The Dajjal will appear, a liar, a deceiver, performing miracles, calling people to follow him. He will claim to be divine, and many will believe him. He will cause droughts and famine, and those who resist him will be punished. He will travel the earth, entering every city except Mecca and Medina. The world will fall into confusion. But then Isa ibn Maryam, Jesus the son of Mary, will descend. He will not return as a new prophet, but to confirm the truth that was always there. He will confront the Dajjal and kill him. Justice will return, peace will spread, but it will not last forever. The emergence of the beast, the sun rising from the west, and a smoke that covers the earth will follow. Each signals the final approach. Then one day, without warning, the angel Israfil will blow the trumpet. The sound will be unlike anything creation has heard before. It will pierce through everything. The heavens will shake. The mountains will crumble. The oceans will boil. The stars will fall. And every living thing, every human, animal, jinn will die. Silence will fall upon the earth. The souls in Barzakh will know the time has come. The punishment will cease. The peace will pause. All of existence will return to its creator. And then after a period only known to Allah, the trumpet will be blown again. This second blast is the resurrection. The earth now flat and barren will be split open. Bodies will be reformed from the dust. Bones, flesh, and soul reunited. People will rise from their graves in terror and confusion, asking, "Who has raised us from our resting place?" The answer will come. This is what the Most Merciful had promised. And the messengers spoke the truth. The resurrection is not symbolic. It is physical, real, undeniable. Every soul that ever lived will rise from Adam to the last person who drew breath. They will be gathered, and the day of judgment will begin. There will be no hiding, no returning, only forward toward the greatest reckoning the soul will ever face. The souls have been resurrected, the bodies restored, and the earth transformed into a vast barren plain with no landmarks, no mountains, no valleys, just endless space filled with the entirety of creation. From the first human to the last, everyone is now gathered together. Every prophet, every tyrant, every martyr, every oppressor, every forgotten soul. They all stand barefoot, naked, uncircumcised, exposed, not just physically, but spiritually, stripped of all masks, all pride, all illusions. This is the ultimate moment of truth. The sun hangs low above their heads, unbearably close. The heat is immense. People begin to sweat according to their deeds. Some up to their ankles, others to their knees, some to their waists, and others completely submerged, drowning in their own sweat, consumed by the weight of what they brought from their lives. Terror fills the air. No one speaks. Every soul is consumed with fear, uncertainty, and desperate hope. Then, amidst the panic, the people begin to move, not by force of command, but by the pull of dread. They go to Adam, AS, and plead with him. "You are the father of mankind. Ask your Lord to begin the judgment." But Adam declines, overwhelmed by his own concern and shame. They go to Nuh, then to Ibrahim, then to Musa, then to Isa, each one revered, each one a chosen messenger of Allah. But one by one they all say, "Myself, myself," until finally they come to the Prophet Muhammad and he says, "I am for it." He goes and falls in prostration before the throne of Allah. He praises his Lord with words that no one had ever spoken before. And then Allah grants him permission to intercede. This is the great intercession, the moment when the judgment begins. The records of every soul are now brought forth. Books that contain every word, every thought, every intention, every action. Nothing is missing. Nothing is exaggerated. Every page is exact. Some people receive their books in their right hands. They smile with relief and joy, holding them high, calling out, "Here, read my book." They know what it means. It is the sign of salvation. Others receive it in their left hands behind their backs, and they are overcome with regret. They cry out in despair, wishing they were never given their record, wishing they could disappear into dust, hoping for an escape that does not exist. But the judgment does not end with the reading of records. Now comes the weighing. The scales are set. The mizan is real, massive, precise, perfectly balanced. Every deed is placed on the scale. Not just actions, but intentions. A smile given with sincerity, a coin dropped in charity, a word of comfort, a moment of patience. All of these are placed on the side of good. But so too are words of arrogance, acts of